Hello to all of our listeners out there. Welcome to an all-new Avenue Talks, episode number 3. I'm your host, Tori, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's guests, Joey and Zoltan. It's not every day you get to sit down and chat with your bosses for an hour, but I'm happy to do so. Now, you're both pillars of the virtual production ecosystem in the Avenue project, and I wanted to give you the time to tell your story of how you ended up here and what drew you to virtual production for education. I'll start with Joey since I know you the longest.
It's a long, yeah, okay, sure. Do you want me to introduce myself?
Yes, please
okay,
go
sure,
ahead.
Yeah. So my name is Joey. I've been with Breda University of Applied Science for almost 10 years now, and I am working in Relouw, which is the R&D department within the Academy of AI, Games and Media. So we do research in innovative products, and one of them is virtual productions.
Hello everyone, I'm Zoltan Batho, originally from Hungary, and I moved to the Netherlands, to Breda, 2.5 years ago. And now I'm a producer at Relouw, which is, as Joey already mentioned, the R&D lab of the Academy of AI, Games and Media.
Can you please tell me more about what your role is within the virtual production ecosystem in terms of the Avenue project?
Okay, so on this project, I want to say more of the grunt work. I'll make sure that all the graphics get created, so organizing of masterclasses and workshops, finding connections, but not too much. So I do more of the on-campus, on-site trainings. So I'll make sure that everything is arranged and running. And I'll have to listen to Zoltan for tasks.
I'm quite lucky with that. Yeah, my role is well, basically I'm wearing two hats. One hat is managing the research part of the Avenue project for all the 5 ecosystems, so not just for the virtual production ecosystem, but all the 5, like XR, animation, games, visual storytelling, and virtual production. Yes. And then the other, my other main task at the Avenue project is to invite industry partners to the project and arrange and manage new types of training materials.
You both started working with virtual production for some time now, and Joey, your first experience was in 2021 when you started experimenting with green screen virtual production. What made you and the team initially explore that?
Well, to give credit where credit is due, I think Carlos Santos and Stephen Payne came up with the idea of this virtual production. It seems to be kicking off. This was also in the time of COVID. So suddenly all these LED walls got used for filming instead of festivals and stuff. It was available. Here at campus, we have a small green screen studio upstairs where we already do some filming for the media students, but that was more for like news channels and that kind of stuff. So we could use their systems, and what we did is we took a Vive with the Vive tracking, we connected that to a camera, and we tried to overlay Unreal Engine. Oh, I don't know which one even. I'm not even sure if it was 5. I think it was 4.
4, most
probably
probably 4.
4. And then could see if we could do the tracking on that equipment. Granted, the equipment wasn't too great back then, but that gave us the first steps into this project. We did something with a train and an alien, and we could use.
I think it was like a subway. Yeah.
And we could use a controller where this alien would jump at the actor, so the actor could see on the screen when this would happen. But it was all green screen technique.
Yeah, but you already see a lot of the foundational ideas of virtual production, having that communication with the virtual environment back and forth. And then when did the XR stage come to BUAS?
So
we
used that green screen more as because we're university, we had to prove to our management, like, look, this is cool, this is worth investing in, this is where the future is heading. We have a media department and we had a games department. The AI department wasn't there back then. And we needed both of these worlds to combine to work together. Before that was quite separate. So now we needed students from both courses, but also teachers. And then we had long talks with management, and Relouw was so nice to help us out and lent us an XR stage. And then we had the perfect space for it. We had to get the space ready, think about power supply, painting the walls black. Think about the noise, the sound that it makes. We had to get to like all this dampening on the wall. Um, and then one day, all these boxes with LED panels got delivered with somewhat of an IKEA manual on how to put it together.
Did it also have a little drawing where you should do it with a friend and not by yourself?
I wish, And granted, it was so straightforward, and we were already like, this is going to be complicated. Like, where do we start? But it was like everything is held by magnets and clamps, and just start on one end and build yourself an exhaust stage.
It's really interesting to hear that although the initial part with a giant investment into the technology, then afterwards, once you do have it, it's easy to start up. It's very accessible, in your opinion?
Well, building the wall itself, but then you go into putting other stuff on top of it. So think about mocap or trackers, or we started with a Vive, and then a few years later we got the Viken system. That was a good upgrade. The Vive was spotty in that room. And I'm not a programmer, I'm an artist by training, so we needed to think about gen locking and capture cards and computers, and how do you record audio, and how do you build a brain bar, and we learned by doing, so some things got adjusted over the years. So easy in a way, like if you use it as a big screen, sure, then it's just a big screen. But as soon as you start layering stuff on top of it, then it becomes complicated.
I just want to backtrack something you said. You said this is where the future is headed. What was that conversation like when you were experimenting with this and you wanted to make the jump to actually investing in an XR stage? And how did you justify that?
Of course, I think for the school itself, or the university, it might have been a little bit of a gamble even. But of course, as soon as we did the first virtual production gathering, and that was without the exhaust stage, that was still green screen. There was already some interest right away on the first one. That was all online because it was COVID. We only had 3 speakers. It was tiny, small, but there was a community building already. But it was a very interesting way for us to finally combine the media side, which was filming, editing, storyboards, audio, that side of the work, with the game side, which is building Unreal scenes and game engines and programming. I think that was one of the first projects that it became really clear for everyone, like, oh, here we can meet each other in the middle.
And we'll touch upon that a bit later, but I wanted to ask Zoltan, in the meantime, when they were doing this, you're on the other side of Europe. How did you discover virtual production?
Well, actually, I was on the other side of
the globe.
Yeah, exactly. I was in Australia.
It's true.
I was doing quite a few digital projects with XR, AR, VR, all sorts of these fancy terms. And just when I actually left Australia, just when I actually came back to Hungary, to Europe, the day when my flight was due, I got an invitation for a virtual production showcase. And I'm like, wow, virtual production, that sounds cool. It uses, real-time technologies, which I was using, regularly already. It also has these huge, shiny, screens. What can go wrong? Let's see how that looks and how that works. So I went just before, getting on my flight. I actually went to see this virtual production showcase, and I was amazed. I was like, "This is it. This is what I want to do." So, long story short, I came back to Hungary. I joined Digic Pictures, and back then I didn't know that Digic Pictures already had a real-time division called Digic Studios. But when I got to know that, I was quite happy to actually join, because I had already quite extensive experience in real-time technologies, and Digic actually wanted to sort of like set up their own virtual production division. So I was almost like the perfect candidate for building that up. So basically, I spent almost 4 years at Digic Studios, building up their virtual production division, plus also managing other real-time cinematic solutions. And funnily enough, through my years at Digic, when looking for conferences about virtual production, I found this small Dutch city called Breda, who were already organizing a so-called virtual production gathering for a few years, and I decided to visit it, and the rest is history.
Well, it's actually after that moment that you came over to Buas.
Yeah, well, actually, I came to the VPGathering twice. I would say we got almost like friends with Joey and with the team. We also joined. I mean, when I was at DIGIC, I made a decision of joining the Panorama project, which is another EU funded project managed by BUAS. So we became partners. So we got in touch with each other. We were doing things together. We were managing projects together, and step by step we became quite close to each other. And then just 2.5 years ago, I decided to come here and make the VPGathering even better and bigger and bolder.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? Now you are hosting the gathering, which is like your introduction to...
Exactly.
What inspired you to make that change to education?
I would say definitely the fact that I wanted to give back. I already worked in the industry more than 15 years. I worked on AAA projects. I worked for the biggest, game development companies. Worked for Marvel. Worked for Electronic Arts, all the big names. And while I really enjoyed working on those, big projects, after a while I also realized that just doing another project for the sake of doing it, it's just not something I would want to do forever. And even in Hungary, when I was actually managing the virtual production business unit within DIGIC, I was asked to do quite a few presentations at universities or other higher education institutions, and I realized that I actually enjoy that. So that's why I was like, okay, so if I enjoy that and if it helps and if I can give back to the new generation, let's give it a go. Let's see how that goes.
And now you're here. We're doing the Avenue project, which is exactly what you're talking about, giving back to the community and giving back to students and making sure that young creatives and alumni and students currently in higher education have the opportunity to work with the XR stage and also learn more about virtual production. And that brings me to the earlier topic that you talked about, collaboration between games and media, and also extending to the collaboration between the different ecosystems within the Avenue project. How does your role contribute to that?
So in my team right now, I'm one of the research coordinators. So Avenue allows for my team to have time, hours, budget to share their expertise. So you can imagine our research team is like 20 plus staff members, and we have programmers, game artists, game designers, GIS data expert. We have researchers, producers. We have the whole shebang. But normally we're always in these projects and we need to finish up one after the other. And now with Avenue, we get to either do a podcast, a workshop, an Avenue Pro tutorial where these experts can share about their expertise and then give back straight to our students, but also students from different universities. And now in these years, we also have the AI track with us, and we have some master programs running. So it's this nice group. On top of that, the alumni that can benefit from Avenue. And it's bigger than us, just like BUAS, with the Danish, Irish, French, and Italian partners. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I wanted to ask you, I guess I could ask you both. How did your previous experience working with virtual production help you, develop this project and really come in and guide students and mentor them into becoming virtual production professionals?
Well, I guess for me, it was really the fact that I could actually work on set at DIGIC Studios. So basically, I had the experience of taking a project end to end. making sure that the script has enough information for deciding which shots should be done in virtual production and which shouldn't. Then doing the pre-visualization, then doing the virtual location scouting. So basically doing the full round of project management and really understanding what virtual production is good for and where should we avoid using it. Because that's, I think, something which is still a bit of like a difficult topic to grasp. What can you really use virtual production for? When this whole virtual production revolution started, everyone were like, yeah, this is going to solve everything and you're going to be able to use it for everything. What a surprise. That's not the case. Yeah. It's always the same with new technologies. So we have a hype and then it goes down and then people got a bit fed up, but then they also realize that there's some really great use cases and they should use the new technology for that use cases rather than trying to fit everything into virtual production. So for me, that experience in Hungary was crucial to actually get a good understanding what the young generation should know and should learn about virtual production rather than trying to teach them everything, because everything is usually nothing. So I guess for me that was the breaking point to make sure that I understand the use cases and I can also sort of like streamline the information to the students from different academies, because that's another thing. Like when we talk about virtual production, it's not just like a one sort of like class or one course. This is basically like a broad of a spectrum of courses where you can actually learn about virtual production. If you are like an artist, if you are a programmer, if you are an IT network operator. So there's a multitude of skills and requirements when it comes to virtual production, and identifying those and making sure that we teach the right skills to the right professionals. I think that's crucial.
Yeah, we touched upon that in the previous podcast episode with Igor. He said the same. There are certain use cases for virtual production that work best, and then there are some cases where you're better off filming on location. And like you mentioned, it's better to go in with that idea and tailor your script and your preparation to do that in order to accurately be able to teach people how to behave on stage, how to see a project from start to finish. And what you said as well brings me to my next question. I know that BUAS has had a bit of a curriculum shift, quite a drastic one, where virtual production is actually being utilized more in courses. And how does the Avenue project fit within that? How does this support the adoption of virtual production more throughout BUAS?
If you want to really talk about courses and how BUAS does it, we have teachers, right? We have teachers that teach a course and they're very good at it. And we are the research team who is working on all these different research projects at the same time. Where Avenue shines for us is that we can have these researchers support our courses that are ongoing. As almost like a guest lecture, they come in, they share their knowledge about a specific topic, and then they can go back to their daily tasks, which means that the teachers are getting support from us as researchers or the Avenue Network. We also can get masterclasses out of the industry. And it allows us some freedom in adding additional workshops for alumni, students, young professionals that maybe are not part of the course material, not part of your ETCs and all that stuff, but could be very interesting on top of your normal education.
In order to delve deeper into certain topics.
Yes, and that's the nice thing, Avenue makes it all for free, right? There's no, you need to pay behind a paywall to get this info. Everybody can join. And it's all about network building.
Yeah, and actually in the first episode, we talked a lot about the research implications of the Avenue project, and now you're talking to the practical implications of the Avenue project,
Yep.
that being the masterclasses, the workshops.
And that's mostly my role. Like with the first episode with Silk and Trashy, they are the researchers. They make sure that it makes sense what we're doing, is that where I apply more all these findings and this knowledge and bringing it to the audience.
And how are you doing that?
With LinkedIn. No, we have a LinkedIn, of course. We have a website. And then we try to actively sit with management of the courses and with our partners to see what they're looking for, where we can help. next to the virtual production gathering, which will help with speakers. We also have the Everything Procedural, which is another conference here at Boas, where we also try to help out with finding speakers or interesting topics. We're trying to broaden that Avenue network that everybody can be part of it.
Have you already seen some of that shift from the research into the practical applications of the project that's been inspired directly by the research, or is it too early to say?
We are currently working on the first research report, and it should be done by the end of February.
Yeah.
So we're on a deadline.
I guess my question more is, what is the future? How do you look to implement those changes into the practical application?
Right. Well, the project runs 4 years. So the research of the first year will be released soon. And then we can actively look like if we need different kind of guest lectures, different kind of input. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe Zoltan already talked about Panorama. And one of the Panorama findings that other research project was more soft skills. People need to be less of a rock star and more of a team player. And we still have time in this project, like 3 years to go, to implement, to steer if there's something coming out of the research that we should adapt or adjust.
Yes, and I think one key element of the Avenue project is the fact that it's not just focusing on one ecosystem, but on 5, and trying to identify the common elements, so that if a student wants to get into XR, he or she can also understand that just by fine-tuning the different courses a little bit here and there, she or he can also enter into virtual production or into, visual storytelling, because the foundational skills are quite similar. So we just need to find the right balance and the right way of potentially giving them, let's say, micro-credentials where they can actually decide on the go where they want to focus on, which skills are they want to focus more on than on others. And because what I see is what I see now is that it's like the good old days where a game student can just learn game development and could be hired by a game development company for like 20 years. It's over.
Yeah,
that's not gonna come back most probably. So we need people, young professionals who actually have a more broader type of skill sets rather than just like focusing on game development. And as screens are everywhere, digital can be everywhere as well. So for example, a game developer can easily work in the automotive industry, or also can work in the event industry, creating sort of like interactive visualizations for concerts. So the opportunities are there, but if someone only focuses on his or her own type of skills like game development, they can miss out of actually getting a bit of a different position, but a very good one.
Yeah, you're talking to how transferable these skills are, in fact, across different industries, because they use similar technology or similar processes. And you touched upon foundational skills, and that is really hard to teach when you see that virtual production is a rapidly growing and evolving technology. How do you keep up and make sure that students are learning up-to-date information and the course is staying up to date as well?
But I think that is exactly where Avenue shines. Instead of being in a classroom and teaching the same course material over and over, now we have the budget of Avenue and the time and the allocation and the network. I think the network is such a big one. We can reach out to one of the partners like, hey, do you know someone in the topic of procedural generation and machine learning? I'll just name one that we did this week. That wants to come give a guest lecture, because you, as a researcher, you have to stay up to date. But then we have the network of Avenue and the funds to also make this happen for our students. And also if students or even professionals, alumni join a masterclass like you giving them on LinkedIn, they can meet industry right there and talk to them. They can join an on-site workshop and meet people that are either studying or already in the field. And it's so easy and low level just to get in, experience it. Maybe the topic is not exactly what you do, like just branching out, but you meet people, you can go to all these different countries, follow all these different workshops, And that's really nice on Avenue.
How do you see virtual production evolving more in higher education past the Avenue project?
So one thing is good to mention. It's a couple of years ago when we started with the VPGathering. This year's the 6th edition.
Yes.
I think we were one of the only ones in Europe to have an exhaust stage. That changed a lot. There is so many universities now that own one and working with it and teaching with it, and they all have different setups and configurations. So in that way, it's already changing rapidly. That there's more universities now pushing students out of the door with that knowledge. How does it affect it? Like, the future of technology is hard to
to predict.
Yes, especially in 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah.
AI will be a big one of it, of course. The motion, if I look in my 10 years here at Boers, the way we do motion tracking now versus 10 years ago is night and day difference.
Yeah.
I would say that the good thing with virtual production is that it requires different people with different skill sets. And that actually teaches all of them how to work together. And in our ever-changing industry landscape, this became the number one soft skill, to be able to work together with someone who has a different skill set, who knows, who has different experiences, maybe even speaks a different language, potentially even like a proper language or just an IT
technical
language.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think virtual production is an amazing opportunity for these people to actually experience firsthand how it feels and looks to work with someone who has more of an artistic point of view, who has more like a technical understanding, and make something out of this. Because while an artist could create something absolutely stunningly beautiful, but putting it on the volume would make him or her cry. So rather than just having it all, how about just working together and making sure that the collaborators are actually helping each other. And I think that's one of the reasons why virtual production became almost like a must-have when it comes to media in the educational sector. It's not about the fact that virtual production is gonna be the number one way of shooting films. This is not gonna be the case, but it actually provides a new approach and a great set of new skills for all the students who are involved in a virtual production project.
As a teaching tool, it's like if you take the whole VP stage just as a teaching tool, and you open it up and you throw students from different courses together, something will happen. They will need to take maybe a step back and look at the situation and come together, because our students at least are very used to work with students in their own course, and they always do it's kind of the same way of handling a project or tackling it. Like then Zoltan says, suddenly you're sitting with a media student and a game student, and maybe an AI student and a master and a bachelor, and different ages and levels of experience. Suddenly, when the audio guy says, everybody shut up on stage, these game people that are working on the Unreal Engine, they have to shut up, right? Because the recording is rolling. As a teacher, that is a very interesting way of teaching. I think it's a very hands-on way of seeing and realizing, oh, now my work that I did on this computer is now on a big stage with a real actor in front of it. And that actor needs a costume with makeup, and then the lighting and the audio and the script, and all these layers need to come together. And for students, just the production side of that is very valuable.
In terms of the future, you're more looking at project-based, cross-disciplinary collaborations and focusing more on how students interact with one another.
Yeah, because that is also nowadays, if you go into the industry, you cannot be it's very difficult to be a solo developer. You cannot go to big companies and think you can walk in there and demand your way. You will be part of a team. There will be maybe a mean art director. There will be a producer that is on your ass telling you what to do this week. on set there will be a DOP that wants it different. There will be somebody that hits that clapperboard and suddenly it needs to be silent. And that is all like skills that you need to learn. I think most of that is communication. So teaching hard skills, I don't want to say it's easy, but that is quite straightforward. Where teaching soft skills is a very difficult thing to teach. And I think the VP stage is a great tool for that.
I know we already touched upon it, and technology is uncertain, and we don't know what's going to change in 10 years. But what about in the next year? Are there any upcoming changes to the XR stage? Anything that you're looking forward to and excited to share?
Well, we had a
Can we
meeting
talk
this
about
morning.
There's always plans.
Yeah, there's plans, but that is quite early. Maybe in a year we can do this podcast again.
Hopefully.
I'll get back to you then.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But I think the thing that we do every year, and this is going to be a little bit of a plug, is the VPGathering.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we always try to give that a little bit of a twist, a different topic, that it's not always the same gathering. As you can talk better about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal your shine.
Yeah, so
Spotlight is yours.
last year was the first one when we had 2 days of VP gathering. One was dedicated for the educational sector and one for the industry. And it turned out to be a huge success. Funnily enough, the education day was sold out earlier than the industry day. So we are keeping that for this year as well. We're going to be having an education day on the 14th of April, an industry day on the 15th of April, and we are adding a new segment, which is going to be the masterclasses day. Because we also received quite a few feedback the last few years that there's different level of experience when it comes to professionals or educators, and now there's a very nice pool of experienced educators in Europe who actually want to dive deeper into certain elements of virtual production. So we are going to organize basically a full day for them. And throughout the whole VP gathering, basically the idea was to really focus on the latest and the best and the most and the solutions which have the most potential for the future for the future of the VP industry. So most probably we're gonna be having quite a few discussions and presentations about AI. Obviously, we can't avoid that, and we actually have to address that because that can change the game drastically. We're also going to have quite a few live demonstrations and masterclasses and also presentations about Gaussian spreading, which is again something which just arrived to the VP scene about a year and a half ago, and it has some really great potential use cases. And obviously, we want to make sure that we are covering all aspects of the virtual production ecosystem, not just like the traditional 3D Unreal-based one, but all the other alternative solutions as well, because in certain cases, you might not require the most complex and most exciting solution. You might end up just having like a 2D plate and getting the perfect result, what you actually wanted for way less than just actually creating a fully fledged 3D scene. So we want to make sure that we are not overselling, we are not over-promising things. We actually want to explain what is good for what. And I think that's pretty much it. Like the VP industry needs to stop over-promising. We need to make sure that now everyone is on the same page when it comes to usability and productivity and budget as well.
It's good to highlight because that we're adding this third day. That is a very applied result of Avenue, because these masterclasses are all Avenue deliverables. They are part of the Avenue project. So we could add this third day because of this project.
And where can people get their tickets?
www.vpgathering.com. The lineup is already up there, not 100% finalized, but I'm getting there. So in a few weeks, we're gonna have a pretty amazing lineup for all the 3 days.
Or there's the early bird tickets.
Well, the early bird is gone.
Okay,
already.
then people get your tickets because the early bird is already gone. And
The
as
early
we've
bird is
heard,
gone.
Education Day was sold out
Yeah, exactly.
last year.
Follow Cradle on LinkedIn for the updates. This is all the plugs now.
Definitely. And also follow us on LinkedIn at Avenue Cov, and make sure to check out our website, avenuecov.eu, to learn more about the project, learn more about how the virtual production ecosystem can help you explore virtual production. But I'll let you talk about the buddy system and the Avenue residencies, actually, if you want to share that as well, because those are really fun and upcoming.
Yes. So the buddy
projects.
system is a very fun way for us to teach. So on the website, you can go to the, right now they might change it, to the virtual production ecosystem. And there is a form where students, alumni, young professionals, anyone actually can just fill in a request. And the idea is you have a problem. You want to talk about, is my portfolio good enough for going for job interviews? I have a technical issue with Unreal. I want to do mocap, but I don't know how. Help me out here. It could be anything really, right? And then that will end up in my inbox, and I will try to pair you with one of the industry experts or educational experts within our ecosystem. And they will reach out to you, and you will have a one-on-one with them, and you can ask them anything you want.
For free.
For free. Yeah, that is a good one.
Good thing to mention.
Yes, yeah, that's a really nice way of teaching. For us, it's nice because it's like you're working 40 hours a week, and then you can spend 1 hour like on a completely different subject, helping someone out. It's nice to meet them. It's a cool way to meet industry as well. And it's a new way to teach.
And the residencies is another great opportunity to come work at the Brighton University of Applied Sciences directly with the XR stage.
Yes, so we have a couple of residencies going. You can, that one allows you, instead of talking to the industry experts, you can use our facilities. So we have an XR stage here on campus with all kinds of cool equipment, and applying for the residencies, again, on the website, you fill in an email. It allows you to use our stage for a couple of months. You can try your project. It can be a graduation project. Maybe you want to try something out for your portfolio, and you get the support from us using our stage.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to use the stage more than just teaching.
I want to step away from talking about like scrutinizing the Avenue project and looking at under a lens.
A little bit lean.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry.
Like I want to get into the practical, to the practical application, to actually seeing how this is changing. Is it too early to see those changes, to see actually what we're doing here at Avenue is having a lasting impact into the careers of young creatives and students and alumni, and not so much talking about the project as what is written in the definition in the grant assignment?
It is early. It is early. We are now gaining traction, and also like you need to bring out the word, reach the people. I think we're getting there now. People are starting to almost get sick of me repeating Avenue everywhere. I can like for example the buddy system. We're getting really good replies on it. They are very happy and very positive, because it's for students a way to talk to someone else other than their teachers. But like long-lasting impact on their careers might be.
That's way too early. And also, we're gonna have an online platform for Avenue. It's still under construction. I think that's gonna help us and the whole Avenue project to really like collect all the materials what we create into one nice online platform and make it available to everyone, because at the moment, as we are still experimenting with a lot of things, these new videos and teaching materials are a bit of everywhere. So that's why I'm going to be very happy when we're going to have this platform where people can just like easily register and just basically use the platform as almost like a micro-credential type of learning platform. Yeah,
and have everything centralized in one location. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm really looking forward to the future and what you continue to develop and secure for the future of virtual production.
Yeah, and
project.
that's the other thing, right? Like that's not just going to be for virtual production, but that's going to be for the whole AirView 5 ecosystem. So even if someone hasn't considered working in virtual production just yet, but when they go on this website or on this platform and see that there's some nice streams of new skill sets which can lead them to work in the virtual production ecosystem, I think it's a win.
Yeah, how would you speak to other higher educations that are looking to implement virtual production as a course or invest in teaching these hard skills and soft skills to their students? What, after the last 5 years for you and the last 15 years of experience in the industry for you, Zoltan, what are some recommendations that you would make? What should they stay clear of?
Like looking now at the exhaust stage around us, like in our ecosystem, I think all the universities are kind of teaching something different. So it's all virtual productions, but they all have different ways of approaching it. Some people really focus on the technology or how to transfer the data in the background and like the hardware side of things. Some universities are really on like the artistic side of stuff. They just want an exhaust stage that runs and not bother too much with all the tech stuff that comes with it. So there is already niches in a niche. So you can already, if you're like a student and you want to go into virtual productions, choose your uni that fits the best in that regard. It is of course difficult because there is not too many jobs directly out there. Like in the Netherlands, there's a couple of VP stages, and there is a few schools that teach us already. So you want to also be able, like, if I use virtual production or in-camera effects, how do I apply this broader, like Zoltan already touched upon before, like the festivals or the automotive industry, because you can still use it in a different angle than just classical VP, if it's already classical. Yeah.
It's that old now.
Yeah, well, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. So the research, what we are doing, what we are finalizing in these weeks, it already gave us a bit of an insight into what the future what the future students should actually learn or study. So while in the last few years, being a specialist was highly recommended, like making sure that someone knows something like as much as it's possible. Now it's not that much of the same situation anymore. So basically now we sort of we are realizing, and this report also shows this as well, that industry professionals require people, new professionals or young professionals who have an M-shaped generalist
Yes.
portfolio, which means that that person needs to have a generic understanding of all the technologies and hard skills what that particular industry requires, like softwares, etc. But that if the person wants to be good in, let's say, virtual production, he or she needs to have at least 2 to 3 fields or skills where they shine. Because if that person has a good understanding of the overarching sort of like skill set of virtual production, he or she can sort of like help anywhere a little bit. And when it comes to solving some very difficult technical problem, then obviously if he or she is also able to manage that part, that's better. But it's not a one-man show anymore. So that's very important to have a few very generic skills, like basically have a bit of a generic skills in everything what the VP industry requires, but choose 2 or maximum 3 topics or skills where they know they can shine. And that makes them an amazing hire right away for the industry.
I think we've been circling around this point a little bit, and I think that speaks to how different studios do VP. It's not one solution fits all. Every stage is different, and having these one, transferable skills, and two, M-shaped skilled or portfolio, then you can go into any stage configuration, any variation of virtual production, be it in camera visual effects, green screen, and deliver that high quality of work.
100%.
Yep.
And what a surprise, the number one skill, what is required, adaptability.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. Like you can't expect to be hired if you are not capable of, or you're not ready, or you don't want to use, let's say, Unreal Engine or Chaos Arena if that particular studio wants to use that. That's just not the way it is.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to learn new skills or new software or new hardware every time you walk into a new VP stage.
And that's where the Avenue project can help you.
Exactly.
Make sure that you check out all of our masterclasses that are available at our LinkedIn page at Avenue Cov, and keep a watch on the website avenuecov.eu to make sure that you stay up to date about all the information of the buddy system, residencies, and how the BUAS and the rest of the ecosystems can help you develop your skills. But also look out for the platform, or centralized platform that will have all that information. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Do you have any closing words?
I want to go first. Thank you for having us. So far, Avenue has been great fun. We're doing some really nice stuff, and it allows us as a research team to branch out and try new stuff as well. So looking forward to the rest of your podcasts.
I imagine checking in with you guys in a year from now, and let's see if it's gone up or down, enthusiasm and optimism.
Fingers crossed. Well, my closing words, come to the VPGathering. Surprise. 14th, 15th April. 14th, 15th, 16th of April. Breda, the Netherlands.
Thank you both for joining us, and thank you to our listeners for listening to this podcast. You can check the rest of our episodes on our LinkedIn page, again, Avenue Cov, and have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.